Hey everybody, it's Kevin, and today is Wednesday, the 17th of March 2021, St. Patrick's Day, and a happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. Um, it's a good one too. As you can tell, have a different camera focus today, so it's all good. It took me a while, it took me a minute. I had to learn, and I like learning. I like learning new things. I am not a photographer at all, not really into photography at all. So, why did I get a somewhat amateur professional type of rig? Because I wanted to, and I think it's always good to learn new things. Yesterday, I learned about aperture and shutter speed and all those things. It was very interesting. I have to say, oh, I need some tea. I feel like my throat's dry. So, let's see what's going on this St. Patrick's Day. Well, it seems like most of the Western world, at least here in the United States, love to celebrate the green um, and the magic of Ireland. I have to say, being British born, hmm, I have an infinite appreciation and love of the Celtic, um, both Irish and Scottish, and probably Welsh too. Um, well, one's Celtic, one's Gaelic. I'm not sure which one's which. And of course, it's Welsh. So I love the culture, those differing cultures that it offers. Um, I also think that it was great when these, or at least to study when these islands, they call them British Isles, I suppose, for a reason, were sort of separated into the mini countries that they are with the borders. Um, and I like that the Scots and the Welsh and the Irish really have done well to keep their individuality and their roots, traditions, and cultures intact in place, um, rather than becoming conglomerated or mushed in. And I feel a bit like if I expand that out more into the way the universe is, we're all independent individuals. And it's really about respecting somebody else's thoughts, beliefs, ways of being, ways of living, and then finding that blend, the blend of the cultures. I think sometimes when we look at what makes a person interesting is that they are different, and the difference is what attracts people to it, because it's not the same. Yet the more we, as a culture, and I'm speaking generally, get closer and closer and closer to what is different, the more then we kind of sort of get the fact that we're all pretty much the same. um, I just find people behaviors, that kind of thing, fascinating. Let's get on with today's message. Don't know if it ties in. We're about to see. Here it goes. So this is from Angel Prayers Oracle Cards. The author's Kyle Gray. There is a different illustrator on these. I think it's Lily Moses. It'll say on here, maybe it won't. Jason McCready was the cover illustration on these cards. But I want to say he may have done all of them. Let's see if it says on here. And I like to give credit where, yeah, illustrations by Jason McCready. Lily Moses did Keepers of the Light, and then Jennifer Hawkyard has done the latest Angel Guide Oracle cards, and I have to say, for me personally, the artwork in these cards, there's something about it that has a life to it. Anyway, let's get on with the message. So we have two. The main card really here to focus on is synchronicity. And the prayer that goes with it is, thank you, angels, I trust the well-timed guidance and the signs. And then the card that influences it, challenges it, comes over the top of it, is to focus your mind, and thank you, angels, for helping me to focus my priorities. So individually, independently, there are two, thank you for arranging all this the way that it's arranged. Together, there's a blending of those two messages. So that's where the light work, the work of the light, the message itself, comes directly from angel spirit to bring a general message or big message to everybody. And it's so pleasing to me, and I'm so grateful to the energy of spirit for working through me, because they interpret how this plays out in like today's message for people, to give people the inspiration, the hope, the clarity perhaps that most people are looking for. So the first thing I'll say about that, synchronicity. There are God incidences, people call coincidences, it doesn't matter. Absolutely everything happens in the order it's meant to happen. So there aren't any mistakes, there are missteps. And by that I would say, how you are, the way you are, and who you are, none of it would have been possible had you not had a set of synchronized timing, the way it was meant to be. Sometimes we can focus ourselves, and here comes where the second message comes into, on something so intently, we see it, whatever we're focused on, feel whatever we're focused on, and yet there is distractions or other priorities or things that get in the way, or things that need to be done first, or steps that need to be taken first, or preparation that needs to be done first. A person can want to have this huge empire, and indeed the empire gets presented to the person that wants it, except here comes this great big empire, big industrial plans, with no help, no focus, no structure, nothing in place, no step by step, no piece of the puzzle. So the focus isn't on the end result, the big, the empire, if you will. The focus has to be on synchronizing all of those components so that what you want, the life you want to live, the way you want to be, is actually lined up with the end focus. And it sounds like a little bit like Mugu Gai Pan on a plate. But if you look at the photograph, let me just turn this off. Let me turn this image off and I'll bring it up. That might be easier. I'm kind of liking the way that this whole camera shooting thing is set up. Anyway, I'm digressing. So look at the focus, which is really what is. Ooh, that's not even in focus. There we go. If you look at the image, you can see. Wow, that's pretty clear. You can see the illustration has got all of the 6 colours, which kind of the chakra colours, that go around 6-pointed star. Now that is Metatron's grid. You'd have to, or the Metatron cube as they call it. It's quite a lovely, well, I find it quite a lovely intricate design. It's quite magical. When you focus on the specifics of what you're looking to accomplish, and that could be something big, it could be something small, notice how it all comes together. There's a lovely affirmation that I use, which is, I love the way the universe manifests everything for me in perfect harmony. Now, sometimes what we look for, what we're focusing on, doesn't happen quite the way we want it to. So does that mean it was wrong? No, it means that I think there's something better. A long years ago, there was a creative visualization course I took in the 80s with a woman named Shakti Gawain. And she did very similar things to what we're doing now, manifesting from a vision. This must have been the late 80s. I remember she would tour the country and be in hotels, and you know, the chairs were all lined up like cinema style. And it was really all about that. It was all about focusing on what it is, what it feels like, what it looks like. And then we fast forward 20 plus, almost 30 years, and we have Esther Hicks that steps forward with her husband Jerry Hicks, who's in spirit channeling the work of Abraham. Basically the same thing, finding a way to synchronize everything together. But before we get focused on the specifics of what we want and how we want it to happen, it's the understanding that we have to line up with it, to lift up with it, to raise the vibration to it, which is what I've spoken about before. And sometimes I talk like this and think, gosh, it sounds so repetitive. And I've often asked for guidance. Why is it that all these messages pretty much sound the same? Not sure, and I have to get the answer to that. But synchronicity and being grateful for synchronicity, think about that being part of the journey, part of the journey of life, part of the journey of learning is the synchronicity. I often find that folks get stuck into the idea of, here's the focus way out there, but then instead of it being synchronized, I've got to do this before that happens. That becomes the excuse. I'll do this when such and such comes. I'll do that when such and such comes. I'll go here when so and so says so. I'll do that. That's where synchronicity gets a little stuck. There's a lovely, beautiful saying called let go and let God. Just know that your focus, the distractions of your focus, is reminding you to come back to what you're focusing on. And in this case, it's focusing priorities. What is your priority? How do you focus on priorities? So if you were to get a piece of paper and an exercise and 5 priorities that you have, what are those 5 priorities? Mine would be health. Without my health, I'm nothing. And in health, I could have 5 subcategories, which would be vibrancy, energy, nutrition, exercise. That would be all in health, spiritual health, mental health, physical health, emotional health, energetic health. That would be under the first priority. The second might be stability or security, right? Got health, now I need security. What is security? Security has subcategories. Security, well, a career, okay. A home, a roof, okay. Sustenance, food, which also goes into health, but food, right? That's security. Without food, we're hungry. With hungry, the focus shifts to got to get food. So then you have a subcategory underneath security. So you've got the first two, health and security. What would be a third one? You choose it. And here's your third one with the subcategories that go into that box. Fourth one, fifth one. So your third one might be community. Community might be whatever that looks like. Assistance, help, community, all those things that we want to focus on. And you could have a category with career, which pops up into security, maybe financial security, that might be in there. All the things that we kind of forget to do, forget to focus on, because we get distracted, and in the distraction things kind of go off the rails. Things are lining up. They're lining up very quickly. I know myself what I've noticed this past 6 months, and that's not been very long, really. September through to March, just those last 6 months, I've learned a great deal about myself, about what's working, what doesn't work, because I wasn't distracted. I wasn't pulled into all these different directions. And I find that when I'm sitting down consulting with people, the distraction, the all over the place. But what I notice, and what I have noticed, is how folks who I meet with, do their hair or consult with or do a reading for, there's a shifting that happens. There's a clarity that happens. And I don't always know what the reading's going to be or who's going to come or what guides are going to come. And yeah, you do get caught up into what's right and what's wrong and what should I do, what shouldn't I do, and am I meant to, open myself up to all of this? Probably, yes. That's when synchronicity just kicks in. So I'm at a place now where, okay, I didn't get bogged down with anything that took me out or took me down. So I'm here for a reason. Let's line it up. I often wonder, well, what did I do with all this lighting, camera equipment, putting the studio together last summer? At first I was thinking, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. And I didn't have a reason, which, in my past culture would have been, you're crazy, that's nuts. What? Why on earth? And then I found friends of mine saying, you should do this, it looks good. No, change that. And those of you who've been on this channel watching these videos, go back to some of the ones from August to September and notice how all this whole stuff in the back has changed. That's what I'm talking about, synchronicity and focus. Focus on what's here right now. Focus on what you've got right on your plate. And find out if those priorities are lining up with what the focus is. All right, let's get to today's message from Melody Beatty here. And then we will get to, I am liking the way all this is going. Sorry, I'm just like going on and on and on about it. But I suppose the message in there is keep going. Sometimes I find that what I'm learning, I heard noises. I'm thinking, Amy, are you snoring? No, don't know. Well, Sometimes I notice when I'm learning it's frustrating. That was a lesson for me because I think I was part of the group of people that want to get it right the first time. Get frustrated because it wasn't happening. Now, as I've shared before, it's just a giggle. It's just really quite a giggle, quite a laugh. I'll share this real quick. Sunday or Monday, when I'm putting this whole rig thing together and learning how to do it all, making sure it's all lined up and done, I did have a moment of, I'm not a photographer. What do I know about f-stops, ISO, depth of field? How did I mean, it was just, I've got a little over myself in learning this stuff. Then I'm listening and it was all beginning to click into place. So I suppose in all that would be, learning is vulnerable. And in vulnerability, there's fear. Walk through it because you're meant to overcome it to get where you're going. Girl, you want to get up on that chair? It was Amy making that racket. Come on then. That girl, well, I don't know, you can see, well, I kind of see her over there, sitting there. She matches the chair, black. That girl is, gosh, she's got to be 11 now. I rescued her from Carolina Poodle Rescue. She had a gimpy leg, had a car accident when she was a puppy, long story short. Got the immediate injuries taken care of, but they left this gimpy leg on, which never grew. I guess the blood flow to that part of her leg wasn't quite there. It was just flopping around in the breeze. And bless her heart, for 5 or 6 years she was carrying that thing around, just dangling on the back, which seemed cruel. So we took care of that. She gets around quite well. She just scoots along. But now we're getting to the point where 11 years old and getting a little fragile over there, and so we just help her into the chair. Let's see, where are we? I'm just making chit chat. Here we go. Ooh. March the 17th. The message for today is cherish hope. It was a beautiful day in a beautiful city. Let's start again. It was a beautiful city in Idaho. The lake ran alongside the highway. It was so clear and blue. I pulled the Jeep to the roadside just to stop and stare. The air was clear. The city felt light, airy, buoyant. Its name was Hope. I didn't stay long. Didn't need to. But I needed to drive by, drive through, pause for a moment, to remember another important power to discover and cherish on our journey. Hope is airy, almost intangible. Yet, if we don't have it, we know it. Hope is simple, it's clear, light. Our hearts, our souls need a good glimpse of it every so often, just to keep us going. Even those times when we have what we want, we can be open to seeing its light shining unexpectedly in another direction. Like this small town that caught my eye. Cherish hope. It adds buoyancy to the spirit, lightness to the day. So this was written by Melody Beattie, I'm assuming in the 90s. Book was published by a company called HarperOne. Just daily affirmations on the path to freeing the soul. So it calls Journey to the Heart, the soul of who we are. I'm trying to think when this was originally published. HarperCollins was the publisher, and 1996. There you go. Wow, nearly 30 years. All right, let's meditate. Feet flat on the floor. and connect your physical body with the earth that you're on. You can shift your back, shift your shoulders, bring your palms upward. Take a big breath in. Let all that go. And do a scan of your body from the floor to your core, and from your core up through your extremities. Take a good dollop of breath into the areas of your body, the big joints that have a feeling of tightness, where energy needs to be released. As you exhale, let it go, let it release, see it floating out, gone. And then bring your mind and your focus to a rhythm of your breath. Nothing forced, just a natural inhale and exhale. I'll begin this meditation with a prayer of protection for everybody. You can repeat after me or just listen and send it up with your heart. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for cutting the ties that bind me to people, places, situations, stories, drama, and all the unnecessary rubbish and nonsense that I no longer want or need. And thank you for cutting those ties now. I declare that I am safe, I am free. So it is, and so shall it be. Bring your hands over your heart. You can bring your right hand to your heart, left hand to your belly, or both hands over your heart. You choose. Once again, repeat after me, or let your mind follow the words and send it up from your heart. I am the keeper of my mind and my body, and wherever love flows, fear is a stranger, and love flows within me, out of me, around me, beyond me. So it is, and so shall it be. And then imagine this beautiful golden light coming from source energy. Find your mind in a place of gratitude. What are you grateful for? What lights you up? What lifts your spirit? What makes you feel hopeful? We can gently bring our hands down with the palms facing up and ask the angels to come in and guide the meditation. Thank you, angels, for showing up. It's good to see you, good to feel you. I appreciate your presence. Thank you for showing and sharing and revealing what I need to know, what I need to share. I am willing to listen and to receive. I'm willing to share. Let your mind come into a stillness and focus your mind on that area between your forehead, your third eye center. This area of your body is where clairvoyance is developed. Practice removing the thoughts. Practice the art of staying present with your breath, with your stillness. Know that when your mind wanders off into rapid thought, it is a releasing, a letting go of. And acknowledge the rapid thinking is part of the journey upward. Just keep focusing on your breath, even in stillness. The human mind is wired to keep thinking thoughts, to focus on situations, people, places, events outside this present moment of peace, of no thingness. You have made a choice to become quiet and peaceful. The journey towards vibrancy, lightness, enlightenment requires the letting go, releasing of the busyness, the rapid thinking. Meditation is the doorway and the hallway to peace. Use your mind and your intention to develop and create a sense of peace, the idea of peace, the sense and energy of tranquility. Harmony, balance, abundance. Pure peace and tranquility is a no-thing zone. What something should look like, but doesn't look like. What something should feel like, but doesn't feel like. Come back to peace. Deepen your breath. Send that breath to every fiber of your nervous system, the neurons that send messages to your brain. Use the breath as a cleansing mechanism to release and let go of the nervousness, the jitteriness, the frenziedness. As you bring focus to your breath, where it's going, what it's releasing, the patterns of your breath, the presence of your breath, the physical effects of your breath, just your breath, only your breath, nothing more. In this place of perfect calm and peace, the non-physical senses become refreshed and recharged. In a vision, the soul path, spiritual purpose become clearer, less muddled. All that is to be fixed and mended will be fixed and mended. All that is not to be fixed and mended will be left alone. Make your declarations, your affirmations, and your commitments. Give grace, gratitude, and thanks for your spirit guides for removing any and all distractions that stand in the way of your progress, of your visions. With the stillness, softness, peace, tranquility, bring your hands to heart center. Lift your thumb knuckles to your third eye center. Together we say Namaste. Whoa. Wow. I never quite know what's going to show up or what energy is going to show up. Just go with what floats through. What I wanted to say in the middle of all that, that's actually the art of channeling. Allowing yourself to get to a peaceful place, a lifted place, quiet, non-distracted, lets those vibrational energies flow in and speak. The distractions, just the same way as you're focused on maybe tidying up, or focused on cleaning up, or focused on cleaning out your car, or focused on reading, or focused on a book project, or focused on schoolwork, or focused on something. Distractions like this, they're chaotic. Because, we've got these shadow selves. Keeping yourself open, taking deep breaths, when you know and you feel yourself getting distracted, that you want to complete a task. It helps to have a by when. The challenge with by whens, meaning I'll do this by this time or this date. The trouble and the challenge is things get in the way. The negative side about doing it is that we topple over. So that shadow self, that egoic self, beats us up because it didn't happen. So you could have a by when. This needs to be in by a deadline. If you notice that when you get deadlines that are important, you make them. For me, if there's a deadline, I want it out of the way right away. I want to take care of it. From that, I learned, well, I've got a little bit too much control going on. But I also notice what's important, I tend to get done quicker. What's not important, I can let all the distractions happen. When you set your priorities, when you set your focus on priorities, when you synchronize up, synchronize everything with an order of importance. What's important to you? What should you do? What do you want to do? And then you'll find everything lines up to bring that into manifestation. All right, listen, I love you. Thank you so much for joining me. Click likes, click subscribe. I think I'm 9 away from where I need to be. I'll get there. Bye.